I guess I better go ahead and talk about this. I should really talk about the person who did the same comic strip for the new guy meme has finally came out with another comic book, which kind of caused a lot of controversy. Which she basically said, be crimes, do gay. And it's like, the title just doesn't really make any sense at all, being gay. Do crimes, be happy. That's what do happy. But the fact is, the comic book kind of depicts her, shoplifting. She basically, and of course, a lot of people were defending it. And I'm just like looking at these people defending her. It's just stupid. I don't get why these people, like this person trying to talk about empathy and all this other stuff. It's like, look, this person came off, okay, their job, if you don't, and Mallory shows that she understands the struggle they must be going through. It's a thought that emphasizes her empathy for folks in the working class who have to deal with monotonous crap like this just to survive a day-to-day harsh world. I hope that this... and she basically doesn't really explain anything. She just uses useless dribble just to explain something. And of course, one person replied, do you realize that stuff like that comes back to bite an employee, right? If my boss found out people stole stuff from us, he would be wondering what the fuck I was doing to allow this to happen. The employees being treated like disposable trash has everything to do with the management, not the thieves who give them an excuse to do it. Call it whatever you want. Laughing out loud. I don't want to know why people can't just admit they like free shit, which is true. They want free shit. They want free college. They want all this stuff. But it's not going to happen because that's reality. And they can't accept that reality. Like, they can't understand that we live in a system called bartering. We still have to barter. We have to trade currency of money in order to pay for that stuff. And it's like, we live in a capitalist society, and they think we live, they live in Russia, in old world Russia, where communism still reigns, as they call it, but it doesn't. It's socialism now. And it's like, they want free stuff, which this person in the video had done. She basically took and shoplifted a bunch of markers out of the store for art supplies in order to get by. Look, I get that people are upset, but you shouldn't be upset with her because what she did was pretty stupid. It was a stupid story, and it wasn't really funny. I'm going to show you an example of a person who did a parody of that story, and I thought it was pretty hilarious because it wasn't like the best art, it wasn't like the best writing, but we got the point of that story, and it came off as bizarre, and I thought it was hilariously funny because I had to admit it was very funny because it came off all weird and everything. And I thought it was hilarious when this person did this. And you should follow this person because this guy calls himself Chipple Dipple, whatever his name is. And I gotta admit, this person actually did a good job of making a comic strip funny. Because that person actually, made a really interesting story out of a parody and made it cooler. And I have to admit, it was funny. Because I got the joke of it. That actually was a better interpretation of a parody that I ever read in my life, and a lot of people agreed with it. It was funny. It was so funny that I couldn't help but laugh at it because even 37K people and 5,000K people thought it was a better story than what uh, what Mallory did, because it's like you get people that can't, that just basically make commentary these days, making like uses political commentary that just doesn't make any sense to people. It doesn't really, clue into the times. You just basically have a person that tries to, steal items from a store, doesn't really give a shit about the working class, doesn't give a shit about anything other than herself. That's why people were upset with her. And then you have people trying to defend her because, oh, she's trans, you're being transphobic and all this other stuff. That's a bad argument, because no one really knew she was trans, no one really cared she was trans, and no one really even bothered to notice she was trans. Using that as some type of shield to protect her isn't gonna work, because the way she presented herself in some cases, she became very arrogant. Even when she did the New Guy comic book, she came off as arrogant too. That's why a lot of people like the New Guy, because it became a meme because everyone sympathized with the New Guy, because the New Guy actually was trying to be nice, trying to be respectful, and of course, Mallory came off a bit arrogant with her argument and message, because she didn't really, really got along with people. And this is why a lot of people didn't like Mallory, for one reason. And that's kind of why this comic book comes off as hypocritical, and also the fact that, I can only be brutally honest with you guys. I used to work at retail, and I used to remember people working over there at retail at Goodwill, for example. They were good people. They were diverse backgrounds, and it's a shame that they lost their jobs because they had to shut down Goodwill because of COVID-19. And I'm being brutally honest here because I want to address something. The fact that the issue that store had was stealing. A lot of people were stealing a lot of stuff. Like the moment I remember going, putting up stuff at the store, it was gone in an hour because someone takes out the DVD and it's gone. Like, no joke. People had stolen like DVDs, gaming CDs out of the box and just put it in their pockets and left out of the door. They didn't even bother to pay for it or anything. They just went out. That's how bad it was at Goodwill. Especially, they even broke into the dumpster just to take out stuff. The homeless keep coming to the dumpster trying to take out stuff. And it was so funny, too. They even tried to take out steak knives. Like, no joke. They tried to steal steak knives out of the dumpster. Even it was just so bad over there. But because I understand why the homeless, they needed all that stuff, but it was sort of a bad situation for them. But they had so many issues that they couldn't pay a lot of people. That's why I left, because I could not they cut my hours, and they kept all the good people that were working there. And of course, some of them quit. Some of them had lost their jobs because of this situation. And I didn't even think they deserved that. None of them, because they were good people. It's just sad that they lost their jobs. And they were from diverse backgrounds. One was a gay man. One was a danger hair, which I didn't really have a problem with her. She seemed like a good person, but she also suffered from diabetes. And there was another one that I used to know that was an African American, a biracial. And it was kind of said that he lost his job. And there was a lot of people that worked there, a lot of girls that worked there, even an old lady that worked there. and she was a very nice person. It was a shame that she lost her jobs. They lost their jobs because of this situation, because they didn't have the money or the resources like they used to, because that store had a bad record of people stealing stuff out of that store. And I mean, it was so bad. It just hurts. It hurts. It hurts. And I'm pretty sure some of them are not talking to me anymore when I mention this. But those people didn't deserve it. And even if you say, but they're a multi-billion-dollar company. No. The fact that they basically make profit to give to the workers. They give that money back to the workers based on how many hours they get paid, based on how much they can get paid. If they were salary or whatever, they get paid. But the problem is that they were losing a lot of money, and they had to close down that store. Because it wasn't just the fact it was management, it was the fact that people were stealing crap from that store, and they were losing a lot of money. And that's when it just went downhill after that. And the fact that you want to justify your argument of, yeah, I stole stuff, yeah, that's how I got my art supplies, yeah, that's how I do things, that just shows you don't care. It just shows like most people, you know, who worked in who stole. I'm pretty sure people who stolen, you know, software from Adobe back in the days would remember that they actually paid for that stuff. And I remember, and a lot of people hated Adobe because it was more expensive. But some of them, I used to remember the days when people just bought the Adobe software and they basically just, you know, paid Adobe money because they wanted to thank them for actually giving them a job in the graphics design field or in entertainment or in other things like editing and such. Those people still give money to Adobe. Some of them still do. Some of them still do it as a hobby. But then again, you know, Adobe did a lot of good. But at the same time, I do feel bad that Adobe changed over the years, and people don't want to use Adobe again because the fact that they had to resort to DRM practices with their software. And it's kind of weird how, you know, back then people used to steal stuff. Now Adobe is locked in. But anyways, guys, leave your thoughts down below and tell me what you think, because the fact that this person came off as a bit arrogant, and I'm just being honest with you guys, I think this person's a bit arrogant and doesn't deserve any attention, because all she's doing is just chasing that, you know, that trans clout that she always wants, and people want to give her praise about her art and everything and about her thing. That's fine. Let them do it, because they're pretty much zombies. They're pretty much, you know, they want to eat the rich, you know, like they want to eat Jeff Bezos' flesh. That's who they are. Anyways, leave your thoughts down below and tell me what you think, because I gotta go. Bye-bye. Because this is really ridiculous.